Well, the Dance for Change Theatre Company is a performing arts company that desires to make a positive change in disadvantaged communities. The organization unearths creative potential and enables individuals from various backgrounds to use dance and other art forms as a way of positive expression. The company hosts dance classes and workshops with the vision of making dance accessible to everyone. Now, to unpack and get more information about this inspirational project, we are joined in studio by the founder of Dance for Change, Mr. Zibosiso Dube. Good morning to you, Mr. Dube. Thank you very much for joining us here on Afro Worldview.
Thank you so much for the opportunity.
It's an absolute pleasure. So talk to us about Dance for Change. What do you guys do?
Dance for Change Theatre Company is a performing arts company that was started last year on the 22nd of March with the intention of making a positive impact in society and disadvantaged communities, as you have said. We also have Dance for Change Theatre Project, which is the NPO that is the one that initiates the whole movement of making an impact in society, having to host dance classes and building self-confidence within individuals.
Amazing. So you are the founder?
Yes, I am.
Of Dance for Change. Talk us through, your thought process in starting something like this and where your passion for the arts and dance started.
After graduating and moving into dance in 2016, we actually asked of what you want to do after graduating, and one thing that came to mind was actually having to make an impact using the talents that are given to me. And after hosting a couple of classes after graduating in 2016, I decided to eventually make it formal, that I have an organization that I'll be part of as well as find it. So I founded Dance for Change Theatre Company with the sole intent of having to make an impact and looking at the background, the history of Hillbrow itself. Hillbrow is associated with crime and a whole lot of negative things that get to be said about it. But I wanted to make an impact and make sure that we change those stereotypes about Hillbrow.
And you are doing exactly that. Talk us through maybe some of the challenges experienced. You speak of some of the perceptions and some of the things that happen in that area of Hillbrow. It's very, very challenging. Was it difficult for you to get young people in and to get young people interested, or was there really a need for something like this in that specific community?
There was actually a need for something like this. You find that the youth in Hillbrow, they're not usually busy with something that is productive. So you find that people are either planning parties or they're busy in mischief, whether it's getting to rob people and stuff like that. So there was a need for something positive. There was a hunger for positive, for positivity,
sure,
if I could put it that way. So when we presented Dance for Change, it happened that a lot of people were waiting for it. So when we said we are hosting our first class, everyone showed up and everyone supported it because it was something that was needed in communities like Hillbrow for itself. And we're planning also on taking it to Soweto, Orange Farm, because there is a need for it. The youth need to be productive and they need a new way of creative expression.
Definitely.
Because you find that when people need to express themselves or vent out what they don't like about the government, they always ban stuff and all of those things. But we need the arts so that people can creatively express themselves and do less harm to the environment and the community itself.
It's amazing to hear that you are looking to expand and move into other communities as well. But when starting something like this, it couldn't have been easy, especially not in neighborhoods like the ones that you are talking about. It can be quite challenging. As someone who had this amazing idea and who wants to instill change, what were some of those challenges that you had to deal with, and how did you overcome those?
There were some organizations that have been existing before. The organizations, they claimed to make a social impact. And when Dance for Change came to play, there was a sense of resistance, because when you wanted to collaborate with them, it was as if maybe we were taking their shine or something like that. So part of the challenges that Dance for Change experienced was the fact that those organizations who already had, surely you can put it a fan base of some sort, they were not willing to work with us. But when they saw the impact that we're making, and they started to actually lend a hand and give us spaces to create works at and actually host classes in. So yeah, part of the challenges have been that some of the things that people experienced before were not the same as what Dance for Change was presenting. So there was a sense of those who were conservative, people who were conservative, and those conservative people who are not used to the arts or the type of dance classes that we introduced, they were kind of resistant as well.
Yeah. Well, before we elaborate a little bit more on those collaborations that have been successful, tell us a little bit more detail about what it is that you guys do. What sort of dance classes do you guys offer? How often do these classes take place? Can anyone come and attend? Are there fees that need to be paid? What are the details?
The classes are for free, and we usually host them once a week or twice a week if the demand exceeds more than once. And we actually teach Afrofusion. This is the dance genre that I was taught at moving into dance, and I cherished it so much. And I use my experience of African dance movements with what I've been taught at MIT to create and elevate Afrofusion. And one thing about Afrofusion is the fact that after attending the class, there's a sense of self-belief and there's a sense of wanting to know more and wanting to be rooted in your own culture. So that's what we do at the Taste for Change theatre classes. Everyone is welcome. With the classes that we host, we allow every person to come, whether young or old, so that because as you have said before, that our intent is to make dance accessible.
Yes.
So one of the ways of making dance accessible is to make the classes to be free and to allow people of all ages to come through.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
But it must be challenging. Where do you get your income from? Where do you get, what you need? Because obviously there's expenses that need to be paid. How do you make sure that you make it to the end of the month?
We usually work with organizations like the Hillbrow Theatre Outreach Foundation, which lends us the space for free. So that way we cover the expenses of having to pay for the space. So we get to present the ideas that we have with the Hillbrow Theatre Outreach Foundation, and then they give us the space. And for the fact that we utilize the space, we utilize it for free because we're actually making the space available. And
you spoke earlier of collaborations that have been successful.
Yes.
You also spoke of what the future holds, and there's a theatre production of some sort in place as well. Give us those details. What's happening?
We're working with the likes of Fontaine, which is one of the companies that kind of existed around our time as well. When we started, we're working with also the pillars of young artists, and which will be performing actually after this interview as well. So we're working with them to make a positive impact together, because no man is an island. So we work with other organizations so that collectively we make an impact, a positive impact on that case, and we make sure that the youth, they get, if they're not working with us, they work with other organizations as well that kind of share the similar ideology that we have.
See, because you are doing such amazing work, and I must commend you on the amazing things that you are doing in these communities. I mean, dance is such an expression of oneself as well. It's really great what you're doing, and I want to focus a little bit on you.
Yes.
You've spoke about you graduating and your love for dance.
Yeah.
Personally, talk me through your journey as someone who loves dance and what you want to do for yourself going forward.
I started as a participant at the Hillbrow Theatre project in 2009. And by being part of the Hillbrow Theatre project, I got to be taught a lot of disciplines, whether as an artist or as a company owner, organizational owner. And I got to be taught a lot of dance genres as well. So from 2009 to 2016, I was able to embrace every lesson that I've been taught. That's one thing that a lot of youth in Hillbrow lack. At some point, they get to learn one thing. After learning one thing, they think that the person that has taught them is now a rival to them. But I was able to embrace every life lesson from 2009 to 2016. And after going to MIT in 2016, I found that I really am passionate in dance, and I can actually make an impact. My dream is to eventually study performing arts and get like a formal qualification. Though at MIT I got an QF level 4, but I want to get like surely a degree or even more than that.
Yeah.
Because the youth in Hillbrow rely on it, and I understand that with me being talented in what I'm talented in, I would be selfish if I would focus only on myself and say I'm talented for myself. But it is important that I discovered myself so that others can also benefit in my talents, and a lot of people have benefited. I've also got a little brother that has gone to study at MIT, and because of what he discovered when I met him, when I started to teach him dance, he started to realize that he also had passion in dance. I also have a student, Tsepang Libilo, who is actually in grade 10 as we speak, but already wants to go and study at MIT because of what I had impacted in his life.
That's amazing.
And there's also young people who didn't know that they can dance because they were also told that they can only act, they can only sing. But one thing that I usually say when we start the class is that it's important that you discover yourself more than that, because I was also told that I can also act, I can only act when I was part of Hillbrow Theatre Project. But because of the lessons that I got from the people that, part of them are part of the performers that we'll see, they imparted a knowledge in me to understand that I have to discover myself beyond just being an actor. And actually, that understanding led to me knowing that I can dance, and I'm confident enough. I don't have to beg for people to appreciate me for dance, but knowing that I can dance, there's nothing else that anyone can do. I'm proud of myself. I'm proud of what I have achieved, having to travel to Germany and Spain for the past 2 weeks. We had gone there, and if I wasn't born for this, why did I travel then?
What were you doing in Germany and Spain?
We're performing a musical, a theatre piece. It's called provocation. So we're telling we're speaking about the future of Hillbrow based on what we see, based on what we envision later on in the year. So we're thinking of 2040, 2050, and we got to travel to Spain and Germany, and we also performed at the Dance Umbrella, the last edition for this year.
That's amazing. You know, you're such a calm soul, but I can see so much passion in you, and young people need to have people like you to aspire to be like and to look up to. I know it's a lot of pressure, but thank you for what you're doing to instill that change and to make sure that young people realize that your dreams are valid and you can do whatever it is that you want to do and achieve. You know, let's talk a little bit about dance. When a lot of young people, when going to their parents and saying, listen, Mom, Dad, I want to be a dancer, parents would sometimes think that it's not a lucrative career, it's not a very stable career. What would your advice be to young people watching and who aspire to be a dancer, who loves dance? Should they make it a full-time career? Is it possible to make it a full-time career? How difficult is it?
It is possible to make it a full-time career, but the thing is, there is a lot of training that is needed. There is a lot of discipline that is needed. You might as well be talented, but if there's no discipline in what you're doing, then your career will be short-lived. So it's important that as much as when you discover your passion in the arts, it's important to eventually get formal training. It's important to submit under people who you see that they can drive you forward. Because I myself, I'm mentored by Sunny Boy Mutau, who's lead choreographer at Moving Into Dance. I'm also mentored by David April, who's a veteran when it comes to dance. And every time when I have questions, I ask them and I chose to be mentored by them because I've seen their way of doing things. So as a young person, I would advise that if you're passionate about dance, look at people who are passionate in your field and who are well-disciplined as well, because you might be passionate but not disciplined. So look for people who have both, passion and discipline. And if those people are disciplined enough, they will take you forward. And those people will give you other platforms. Because my mentors, they've given me other platforms where they were supposed to take them. So with parents as well, be patient with your children. At some point, it got to a point where there was a sense of demand at home. They were like, but we are not seeing any rent money. Why are you doing this? But I knew that I was going to travel to Spain in a couple of months. So all that is needed is patience as well. People need to be patient with themselves. I was also patient, knowing that we need to have faith as well. Faith is important. See where you're going before everyone else does. First, believe in yourself. Believe in yourself before anyone else does, because if you don't believe in yourself, you will believe what everyone else says.
This is true.
That's why you will find that you will sacrifice your passion to go and work for a 9-to-5 job. I'm not saying it's wrong, but you'll find that because you don't believe in yourself, you will take what everyone else does. I was also tempted to go and do a 9-to-5 job once or twice and sacrifice my passion for it. But when I was in those job places, I realized that I'm actually not passionate in this. And people would ask me, what am I doing here? So it's important that you discover your passion and
do what drives you, you know? But just quickly, before we toss to that performance, I'm really excited about the performance. What can we expect? Tell us a little bit about these dancers quickly.
This is part of these dancers are part of the Performing Arts Organization, and that they usually are in Hillbrow as well. And we work with them in a lot of times during the year. And later on this year, we'll be working with Big Boy and Ndlovu. We are creating a piece called The Power of Fire, and we'll be showcasing at the Hillport Theatre in September.
All right, amazing. Spoo, thank you very much for your time, and continue being an inspiration and a light in the darkness for a lot of young people. We appreciate your efforts.
Thank you so much.
It's our pleasure. Well, there you have it. It's called Dance for Change, and they're doing amazing things in Hillbrow. They plan to expand, but as promised, here's that performance. Enjoy.
Sanbona, Sanbona, Kushuje,